Consumers want natural. You want affordable and effective. Everyone wins when you breed with Affimilk heat detection. Reliable heat-based breeding for high preg rates. That's the power of Affimilk.
Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with California Dairy Magazine, reporting to you here today from Tulare, California. We had a great seminar here today put on by Ever.Ag. This is one of their representatives, Tom Brinks, visiting from Iowa. Grateful to have you here. Talking specifically, your side of the presentation was beef on dairy. You know, there's been quite the hype and excitement with the reduction in the beef supply over some time now. Dairy producers are looking at, making some extra money by investing in beef. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So we're working with dairy producers first, ultimately to basically breed some beef on dairy crosses. The concept is the top third of dairy cows get bred back for replacement heifer purposes. The bottom 2/3 get bred to a beef sire, which ultimately gives us a calf with a lot more beef features. I mean, rate of gains are slightly better, feed conversions are slightly better, and ultimately we get a better carcass at harvest time. But this is a chance to work with our dairy community to potentially put beef on dairy calves in the marketplace. It's a chance for us to work with our livestock clients, feedlots, calf ranches, etc., to basically make sure we can keep those feedlots full as we go through this bottom side of the cattle cycle. And ultimately, it's a chance to supply product for our processors to make sure we can keep our plants full, which on the back end, consumers have a chance to buy a great product.
And right now, beef prices have been pretty high. I mean, obviously we've had some inflation, but also just not having as much beef on the market will definitely have that impact. It's just not that easy for dairy producers to quickly change. There's obviously genetics and breeding for certain traits that are involved. Mostly dairy producers are focused on more milk production, and when milk prices are not ideal, this is something that's raising some interest for our dairy producers. Something that's not necessarily new. I mean, we have our cycles throughout, over time, but something really special right now, right?
Definitely. I get challenged a lot of times in my presentation, like, we've talked about beef on dairy for years. Why is it different now? And we think a lot of things in the market have lined up. I mean, building a long-term market, timing is everything. And right now, we're coming off of COVID, which disrupted our beef supply. We've got, low cow numbers, so the price of beef is high. But there's also the sustainability play. There's a certain consumers out there that want a sustainable product. So ultimately what we're trying to do is coordinate dairy producers with beef producers, with processors, to basically build a branded beef story. And, a lot of times you hear the, certified Angus beef. We envision beef on dairy trying to build that long-term story and make this a long-term marketing play.
I'm glad you mentioned long-term because, this is a short-term issue right now in the market where there's a space, for more beef on the market. But, as we know, things change. So is this going to last? How do dairy producers invest in such a way that's going to have some long-term positive effects, not just the short-term gains?
So part of this project is not only, changing the breeding, using beef sires on that bottom 2/3, but basically looking at are there some retained ownership opportunities for dairymen where if it looks like the market's going to hold, can we use this as an additional revenue source for dairy producers? If the answer is no, those calves go into the market just like they always have in the past. But ultimately, we want to tell that branded story of beef on dairy. And I've had several dairymen tell me the ultimate success is defined by, can we go in a high-end restaurant and see on the description where the beef come, this beef started on a dairy farm. And we want to build that market and see if we can make it a long-term play. And I'm confident we will do it.
That's an interesting concept. Do you think it will be pretty well received by the consumer?
Oh, definitely, because the quality, quality is everything. And we all know that there's probably nothing tender than eating a Holstein steak. It's just the shape of it's not quite as appealing as a nice big round ribeye. So if we pick the right sires, we can change what that steak looks like, the shape on a plate. we know the quality is going to be there. So the high-end restaurant market, the commercial food ends and different things, I mean, this is a way to get a lot of uniformity built into the market, but with a high-quality product.
So I see we're taking advantage of this situation, right, and building some momentum for a long-term, you say, niche market for our dairy producers.
Exactly. I'm fortunate to have one of the funnest jobs right now in ag because it's a win-win for, dairy producers, beef producers, processors, and ultimately consumers will have a chance for a better product.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming out and sharing this today. Read more about these things in California Dairy Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.